running your 108. Last night all of the parts have been washed. They've been allowed to air dry. I'm going to put the drip tray in its place. The rear seal goes together by placing the larger end over your thumb. We're going to put this thin piece of rubber into the groove. The easiest way I've found to do it is to get it back with your index fingers, push, and walk it around. Next, I'm going to take our two scraper blades. They go on by noticing that this bar has two flats on it. That's so that you can push this easily down over, and then it locks in place when you turn it. Same thing here. Push down, turn it. I'm going to take some lubricant. I'm going to put 3 pencil eraser sized blobs back here on this shaft face. Put on the rear seal. Give it a spin so it stays. I'm going to put this into the machine. If you look back into the machine, you'll see that there is a pocket with this shape in it. So we're going to push it back until it hits. Give it a spin until it engages like that. I like to push this to where the dasher's straight up and down. It makes it a little bit easier to assemble. Next thing I'm going to do is put the spigot housing together. It takes this white Delrin piece, the O-rings go into the groove. Next, I'm going to take the shaft, screw it into the plunger. Going to get the spring for the shaft. Going to put a little bit of lubricant on these two O-rings. Give it a run around with my finger. Then I'm going to put this into the housing, turning it over so I can see the shaft come through. Put on the knob, screw it into place, get it all the way to the end of the shaft. I'm going to take this large O-ring, put it over the threads. Going to grab the front plate, want to put it on the opposite direction from this bushing recess in the front plate. Put it on and thread it into place. Wind up with this hole being aimed down. Going to grab the front plate bushing. Going to put the O-ring into place into its groove. Put a little bit of lubricant on the face and down into the hole, just a little bit, and just on the outside. I'm going to pull this out just a little bit. It aids in assembly. Go up and first of all hit the hole on the dasher. Line it up, spin this until you line it up with the knobs. You want to start knobs. The first one you just barely want to get it started. Go to the opposite side. You might need to help it by pushing a little bit. Get the second one on. Now you can start the other two. Opposite sides, go back and forth until you get it up good and snug. No lubricant went on this big front plate seal. Next, I'm going to take the restrictor tube, put its little O-ring on it, a little bit of lubricant. I'm going to drop it into the mix pan so it can get sanitized. This doesn't go into the inlet hole yet. Now it's assembled. Okay, now we're going to sanitize and charge the machine. We send this no rinse cleaner out with all of our machines. It works as a ½ ounce per 2 gallons or 1 ounce per 4 gallons. I have 4 gallons here. This little container is 1 ounce, so I'm going to put in 1 ounce. I'm going to get the lid back on this. Take a whisk, stir it up. Okay, I have my mixed sanitizer here. I'm going to be using this cup to chase product out, so I'm going to sanitize this cup. I'm dumping the sanitizer in. Going to take the brush, go all the way around the outer edges with it. Then I'm going to go down through the inlet tube with the machine off. Okay, it took a minute, but I let the sanitizer bubble down into the barrel. I'm going to make sure the selector switch is off for the freeze. Just turn the dasher on. You can damage the plastic parts if you run it in the freeze mode when sanitizing. After letting this run for a minute, I'm going to shut the dasher off. And it'll take a couple of buckets, but I'm going to empty this out. I'm going to get a small container, put it on the drip tray. I'm going to take that sanitized cup that I have, and I'm going to hold this open and slowly pour mix all the way around the sides. Not very much on the sides. Come to the front of the machine and dump the rest. We're chasing the sanitizer out. You can't use water to do it. You have to use mix. So once it starts coming out the same color and consistency as what you're putting in, shut the spigot. There might be a little suds in this. Go ahead and do it until you get the suds out. A little bit won't hurt. If you mix it correctly, it's at 100 parts per million, which kills all bacteria. But just a little bit of it as residual won't hurt anybody. Then you go ahead and charge the machine. Fill it up with mix, leaving the restrictor tube out still. I'm going to grab the restrictor tube, put it down into the inlet hole. Okay, the machine's been charged. The restrictor tube is in place. The lid needs to go on. I'm going to turn the dasher on, and you're freeze. Okay, it's the end of the day. We have dispensed all of the product we can get out into clean, sanitized bucket, put them back into the walk-in. After that, I ran 2 gallons of lukewarm water with a little bit of detergent in it through, with the freezer off, of course, just the dasher on. Let it rinse, emptied that out into a bucket, and then did it again. So I'm at the stage now where I'm going to start taking things apart to clean. I need to get the lid off, get the carb tube out, or restrictor tube. I'm going to get the O-ring off. I'm going to put extra room down here on a dry cloth. I'm going to pinch, I'm going to push up. It makes the O-ring pucker and it slides right off. I'm going to have a little bit of water that spills out. There's not a lot I can do about that, so I'm just going to let it go. Take these front plate knobs off. I'm going to get them all loose. Seems to be easier to get off that way. Most of this will go into the drip tray. So I'm going to take the lower two off. I'm going to put my hand on it, take the upper two off. Going to grab onto the spigot, spin it, get it off, unthread it. I've got this off. I'm going to unscrew the knob. Push on the rod to get spigot plunger, spring, all of that out. Going to unscrew the rod. Going to get these two O-rings off. It'd be a little bit easier if you wipe off the lubricant that's on there. Go to a dry spot, again, pinch and push up, and it rolls off. I have this large O-ring to get off. We have a tool that makes this much easier. What I suggest you do is you go at it at an angle. If you go at it straight like this, the tool just snaps. Get underneath it. Get back to the thicker part of the tool. Roll the O-ring off. I have this bushing that needs to go in. I have this dasher assembly. The blades you just put in a straight line with the center so that you have the two flats to help pull it off. The rear seal comes apart. To get this rear seal apart, I'm just going to use a dry rag, grab onto the rubber, and pull it right off. You need to get mild soap and water and clean out the top of the machine, clean out the barrel. To get this O-ring off, just a smack on your hand, it comes off. All these parts go back into your kitchen. Wash them with a mild soap and or mild detergent and lukewarm water. Let them air dry, and they'll be ready for assembly the next morning. The knobs go. Drip tray goes. And the lid goes. That should be it for cleaning your machine. For the Model 108, our kit number 188393 covers several versions that we've made in the past. Included are the scraper blades, all kinds of O-rings for the different kits, a rear seal, lubricant, O-ring removal tool, and a brush. For your Model 108, if you need a spigot body, it is part number 110381. For the Model 108, your spigot plunger is 110382. For a Model 108, your spigot plunger shaft is part number 110383. The spigot plunger spring for your Model 108 is part number 64531. The front plate spigot plunger knob for your Model 108 is 64457.